Hi, my name is Emma Fawcett and I'm an independent stamping demonstrator based in Newton Abbey, Belfast, Northern Ireland. Thank you so much for joining me today on Emma's Crafty Space. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this cute little card. It's very simple, very plain on the outside, but then whenever you open up on the inside you've got this little kind of pop-up feature in the inside of it. So I'll hopefully be able to talk you through this and maybe show you some different that you may be able to try yourselves. So I'm going to give you some measurements to begin with. So this is your standard C6 card, so it is just your A4 sheet cut in half and then scored at 4 1/8 of an inch or 10.5 centimeters, so just keep that to one side. Then we have this piece of paper, so this is going to be our card, this is going to be our inside, which is going to create the mechanism, and it measures 7 3/8 by 5 1/4, and then it's scored at 3 7/8. Okay, and I'll show you how to do the little mechanism on that. This little piece is cut with the basic borders to give that nice stitch cloud outline. And if you get a piece of card and the width has to be 5 1/4, and then if you measure up 2 inches and then on either side, and then lay your die down to where the blade is, it means then that this here's 2 inches, and then you've still got that nice cloud puffy outline, okay, but you've still got that 2 inches in depth. And then this is the front as well. So although I've done this one in Pool Party, we're actually going to ink this up, and it measures 5 1/4 by 3 3/4. I'm just going to double check that. Yep, 5 1/4 by 3 3/4. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to ink this up. Now I already have this cut as a scrap, and it's going to give me that kind of nice cloud outline. So I'm going to do it in Balmy Blue, because Pool Party, I absolutely love Pool Party, but it can kind of look a bit green at times. So I'm just going to ink up my brush here, and then we will make a start. Okay, so just go along the edge there. And it's just to take the whiteness off that, but to give us a nice subtle cloudy background. Okay. Whenever I move that, you can just see that you've got a very subtle outline. Okay, and then I'm going to move this about the place. Use your grid paper just to kind of get your bearings with the blending brushes. You don't want it to be uniformed lines, so don't be afraid just to kind of go that, change your outline just to different angles. Okay. Obviously the further you get down, it doesn't really matter, because you're going to have that white cloudy outline anyway. If you can imagine, this is going to sit over the top of it like that, but you just want to take that whiteness away. Okay, so set that over to one side, and then you're going, the piece that you've got cut out for your inside, which measures 7 3/8 by 5 1/4, and then scored at 3 7/8. We're going to do the same thing again with this, because I want this to be our cloudy background for our rainbow. Sorry about the shaking of the camera, obviously with me brushing over this, it's moving it. Okay. Might go for that one again, so just line your edges up again. Like that. Just keep on going down until you're down to the bottom of this. Okay, so whenever you get down to the bottom of that, you can put your ink and your brush to one side. Okay, and I'm going to show you now how I did the mechanism. So you have that well creased with your bone folder, and again I like to use my scoreboard for things like this, because it means you've got your measurements down here as well as along the top, so it's actually quite easy to find the center of things. So the center of 5 1/4 is 2 5/8. Okay, so that is my first line. Okay, with a pencil, obviously, because you can rub it out. So then you want to create that an inch. So you're going a 1/2 inch either side. So that's going to give me 2 1/8 and 3 1/8. Okay. So the step that I want, and what I mean by step is, I mean this gap here, I want it to be 1 1/4 inches. So I'm going to bring my ruler in here and set it to 1 1/4. So what is here? I'm just going to draw a really faint line like that. Okay. And then I'm going to draw a line down from each of that, and because I'm using my scoreboard, it keeps my ruler completely flat, so I know my lines are completely straight. So that is all you need your scoreboard for. It really is just so you're able to butt your card up against both sides, so you know you're definitely getting it straight. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my trimmer. Okay, and I'm going to line this line up here. Okay, push that right to the top, and I'm going to come down to 1 1/4 or to the edge of that line. Okay, and then I'm going to move it over and repeat that. Okay, so you can rub out your lines, it's entirely up to you, but it doesn't actually matter because they're going to be on the reverse side. Okay, so what you have to do now, this is what you're left with. This is actually going to come this way, and you're going to crease these across here. So that is going to sit there like that. Just make sure they're pushed in as far as they need to be. And get your bone folder and just crease that across there like that. And that is your mechanism complete. Okay, so hopefully I've explained that in a way that is understandable. Obviously, it's very hard sometimes whenever you're trying to describe something, because you know what you're trying to say in your head, but actually trying to convey that over can sometimes be quite difficult. So the reason why I inked the whole thing was I felt that in my sample, the pool party was too heavy. Whereas now you've got that nice kind of cloudy background, and it's just taken the whiteness off the card. Now if you still felt that that was still a bit too sparse, you could dauber around the edges with it just to kind of give it a bit of a lift and on more definition around that edge. I don't know, there's not enough on my brush, so I think I will get a dauber and do that myself. Just around that outside edge. You can see that's maybe made a little bit more of a difference to that. Okay, so now we just have to stick this down. So I'm going to use wet glue because again we always like to have our wiggle space. I'm going to do the bottom half first. So put your glue on it, but not on this part. You can go around that but not over it. Okay, so the reason I'm saying put plenty of glue on, you need glue so that it's going to be wet enough for you to move it about. Okay, so you can butt that in like that. Right up to the edge. And make sure you've got an equal border all the way around that outside edge. Okay. And then you can glue the other half. So again, we're going around this. Okay. Okay, like that. Okay, now there needs to be a little bit of give here. Okay, that is you. Just going to smooth that over with my bone folder to make sure everything's in place. So whenever you open that, you've got that nice cloudy background. Okay, so we'll decorate the front for a little bit. So on my inked piece again. It's going down first. Okay, make sure your clouds are going the right direction. Okay, we don't want upside down clouds. Okay, again, just smooth that over. I like using my bone folder because it means you can apply equal pressure. Okay, now I have cut this little sun out using the Give It a Whirl dies. Absolutely love those dies, and there's so many lovely stitch shapes in them. They're just so pretty, and I really just love that extra little detail in it. So I'm going to put the outside scallop circle down flat, and then I'll raise the inner part, and I'll actually stamp a little green on that. Sorry, my glue's being a bit shy and not coming out. So put that here. Okay. Now before you do that, which is probably something I should have done myself, you just really should measure that up just to make sure that the suns are not completely obscured, because then your greeting will be obscured. So I am going to put glue along the bottom here and up the sides, but I'm going to run dimensionals along that top edge. Okay, and it just means then that the clouds will be lifted up off of that. So they're sitting proud of the card, but the bottom bit's stuck down. Okay, so unpeel on your dimensionals. And then line this up like this and stick it. So again, just hold that for a second or two just for everything to bond. And then we're going to stamp our greeting on this. So a little something to brighten your day. Use that. Okay, just dump that in the center of your circle. And then a dimensional to raise that. And then you're just going to set that in there like that. Okay, so we'll come back to the front in a little minute. So this is our center now. So this is obviously quite a big area, so I'm going to maybe stick this. This is the cloud that's used, that I've used a cloud punch, and it's really just to give me a background, sort of something to stick the stripes of the rainbow onto. So put it up quite high, and I'm sticking it flat to that. I'm not going to do it with a dimensional. Okay, so I'm going to put it up quite high, and it means then I've got a bit of room to play with the rainbow. So, and I've already cut out the stripes of my rainbow, so that is Mango Melody, Melon Mambo, Misty Moonlight, and Granny Apple Green. Nice bright colours. Now you could go whatever colours you want, it's entirely up to you. So let's go with our first stripe. So whenever you just push that back, just make sure these are straight. You can use your crease line as a guide. Okay. You don't need lots of glue in those stripes either. Okay, press down again, and again just make sure it's all straight. Needs to tilt a little bit. Okay. Misty Moonlight one. Again, just making sure it's straight. And then your last one in Granny Apple Green. So happy with that. So last thing I want to do in the inside is, well, there's two more things. I want to stamp a greeting, but I want to add these clouds. Now again, these clouds are out of the Give It a Whirl dies, and I'll hold them up again. That lovely stitched detail on them, just really, really pretty. So we're going to stamp attach these then, and I think I'm going to do them with dimensional. So it's really just to hide the ends of the rainbows. So put one here, one here. You don't want it, you want it to be kind of sitting a little bit up from the bottom. You don't want it to be dragging on the bottom of that. Just the one here. That, and then one across the middle, just to hide the joins of the two clouds, like that. And that is it, done. The only thing left on to just stamp this little greeting, You Make Me Happy. And again, I'm going to do it in Misty Moonlight because it pulls out that nice dark blue out of the rainbow, but also it's not as harsh as black. It's definitely in keeping with the color scheme of the card. So okay, so the front I have added a couple of the little epoxy raindrops, and then I'm going to show you this. So this is raffia that I've got off Amazon. Now if you're ever going to buy a raffia, this is how it comes, with this kind of cellophane outer. Don't make the mistake I made and try to start unwrapping it, because then the whole spool just falls apart. So it literally comes just with a little bit poking out the top, taped down. Now I find it easier to knot it, so it means then that every time you go to use it, you can then just re-knot it before you cut it, and it means then that you're not losing all your bows, and you can just snip that off and tie a knot at the other one. So this is one that I've done earlier because I don't want to be struggling with it on camera. And then a little glue dot holds it beautifully. So just place it there, and that is it finished. Okay, so you can see that is the front. Now the front is a little bit, you maybe could go and do something else with it, maybe not stamp the greeting on the sun, but actually stamp it down here. It's entirely up to you, or you could do another layer of clouds just to make it a bit more interesting, but the real detail then is in the inside, and hopefully it's a wow factor for whoever receives it. I'll do a little list of all the materials and products that I've used in the description. Hopefully I've given you a very clear tutorial, and it's easy enough for you to follow to make your own pretty designs. And thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Take care. Bye bye.